Meeting to order. Let's stand and recite the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Let's pray. Thank you for this day. We ask that you would guide our path today, and more specifically, our thoughts, words, and actions. A brief moment for your own intentions. I get a motion to approve the agenda. Motion and second to approve the agenda. Is there any discussion to that motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Usually we take public comment right now. We do have an introduction. Staff, Sheriff West and dispatch team. You guys would like to come forward? Could you speak in the mics? And, well, in case there are people listening online.
Oh, yeah, that might be better.
Oh, that'd be great.
There we go. Good morning. You guys can come over here. Sheriff Pat West, I just wanted to introduce two new employees that we have in Dispatch Center. First is Thomas Reese. Thomas is our supervisor over there, and I apologize, I neglected to bring him over early on. He's been with us for, 2 months? Six? Oh, my God. Well, he's doing a heck of a job over there. Taking care of business. And then we just recently brought on Bryce Hoban. Some of you might know him. He used to work as a dispatcher, how long ago in Meade County? 7 years ago. Both these two come from Pennington County, bring a lot of expertise and knowledge. So we're really excited to have them on board, and they're doing a very, very good job over there. So just wanted everybody to meet them and put a face to a name.
Great, we appreciate that. We generally ask them to tell something about themselves.
Is it still on? Okay. Maybe? I can't tell. Sure. Coming with 15 years of dispatch experience. Worked at Pennington County for a very, very long time. All the things from off the streets, fresh dispatcher, didn't know what I was doing, up through supervising and management, and ran a lot of operations down there for many years, and then now I'm up here and having a great time. So, great.
I'm born and raised here in Sturgis. Started dispatching in 2012, so I've been doing this for just under 14 years. Was here for 7 of it, was down in Pennington for 7, and now I'm back here closer to home, and that's about all I got.
Well, welcome aboard, and you guys do know that being in dispatch in Meade County, not only do you not have to know the 911 addresses, but you have to know to tell the deputies to turn where the barn was 20 years ago, and so on and so forth. But, all right, well, welcome aboard, guys. We appreciate you coming over here.
And Thomas, yes. I would like to commend you. I noticed how much the overtime was down. And Bryce, it's good to have you home. Okay, thank you. Wow.
That's great. I'd like to open it up for public comment. Anybody have anything for public comment? Anything that's not on the agenda? Yes, sir. Sure. So, yeah, if you'd come forward and if you'd speak in the microphone so we can pick you up on and be recorded. State your name. Did you sign in the back as well, too? Yes, sir. Thank you. I think if it's green, Mr. Okay, go ahead. Yes. I usually give just state.
It's greener now.
And
all right. Yeah. All
for
right.
public comment, I generally give 3 minutes apiece.
Okay, sure. I've talked to a couple of you about this. We have a shop down there in Somerset, and we built it mostly in 2025, a little bit in 2024. We built it under the pretense of the past discretionary tax formula, 0 for 5 years. We had our certificate of occupancy before the change to the discretionary tax formula took effect. And I would like you guys to not reconsider the change, but consider how unfair it is that the effective date catches me and probably, I'm sure, a couple other people in this middle ground where we've invested our money. We used that discretionary tax formula as an incentive to come to Meade County, and now we're going to pay more taxes than we were basically promised. I don't know. I think we, in talking to Mr. Talbert, he compared it to the change in the federal tax code, but it's not that. It was an incentive. It was a promise, and we came to Meade County because it was promised. It was advertised. We'd spent all our money and completed our building by the time that you guys changed it. So if there was a way to, I think it'd be fair if it was just the next year, because I don't know, there's no difference in changing what affects us with somebody who was 3 years into the formula. We'd already invested our money. So.
You done, Mr. Goodman?
Sorry?
Are you finished?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And I'll open up questions from the commissioners or comments if they have any.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
What was the date on your certificate of occupancy?
I believe it was August 29th. So it was after you passed it, but now within the 20 days for it to take effect.
Well, I'm no lawyer, but I would assume if you already had the certificate of occupancy. Ken,
would you come forward, I think, and I got a couple questions for you as well. I guess, Ken, if you want to brief us on the laws, when I understand what we passed for the resolution, that we went to the 2040 6080 versus the all zeros, but what is the laws and when this would take effect?
20 days after publication.
20 days after publication, but
all ordinances and resolutions, and pretty much anything you do falls within one of those. Take effect 20 days after publication, absent an emergency clause, in which case it takes effect upon passage.
But this would be in regards to when the assessments take place as well. Does that have something to do with it on the November 1 deadline, or not?
I know Tanya, I don't have the facts on this. Okay, Tanya had briefly discussed it with me. I don't know the dates and when everything happened, so I'm not going to stretch that far. And how they apply it in equalization planning.
Maria, could you help on?
Yeah, so November 1 is our assessment date, which is considered January 1, so to speak, for the normal world. So we assess property as it sits November 1 for the first time. Unfortunately, in this case, Sam's assessment date was November 1, the building first being complete for 26, pay 27, so he fell under the 2040 6080 formula rather than the zero for 5 years.
okay, I have a question. If he got his certificate of occupancy on August what?
29th.
29th, and our thing had not gone into effect yet, why would he not have been assessed at the discretionary formula that was in effect at the time of his occupancy and the building being completed?
There's many times that we can actually pick up a building at a portion of completion.
Yes.
And certificate of occupancy doesn't mean so much to the Director of Equalization Office. It's really a planning item. So our assessors went and picked up the property for the November 1 assessment date. It went on for 26, pay 27. We don't pick buildings up mid-year and tax them for a portion of a year.
Well, I know that, but I would just have assumed, since the building apparently had been completed by that date,
Much like when a house is completed on February 2nd, we don't pick it up on February 2nd and assess it.
Right, it goes to November 1.
Right. November 1 is the magic date. The rules and laws that are in effect as of November 1 are what we're required to use.
Okay.
Ken, the next question I have is I understand that we just had boards 2 weeks ago, and we can certainly change assessment as the Board of Equalization, but can the Board of Equalization or the County Commission segregate or discriminate on who or what gets a discretionary formula? For instance, we passed the 20/40 60/80, so therefore that would apply to all people at all times. I guess my question is, can a decision even be made as far as if Mr. Crittman or Commissioner Creed would get 20/40 60/80 or all zeros, I guess is what I'm asking.
The only option under the discretionary formula is for the owner to opt out. Otherwise, it applies equally to everybody.
So even if we would want to bring him back to all zeros, there's nothing statutorily in place for us to do so. Is that correct?
Correct. I mean, you could go a different. It's not an appeal. It's an ask of forgiveness. The commissioners have the authority to compromise taxes that are past due, as an example. But in this situation, I don't see an avenue. No.
But that's past taxes. I'm just asking if to give him a different discretionary formula.
No,
That's what my question
I don't see a
was.
path. I agree with the equalization that November 1's the magic date. In this case, he missed it because of the completion date. In some cases, as Rhea pointed out, you can have a house completed February 2 that essentially goes a year without being taxed, or almost a year without being taxed. And it flows on both sides of the equation.
See, I guess I had assumed when we passed that law, apparently we probably caught other people too then. Oh, okay. I had assumed anything that had already been completed by the date that we passed that ordinance would have been included in the existing ordinance.
In reality, anything that was being taxed would be under the old ordinance, not the new.
Okay.
So it's the tax status is what matters.
See, we learn something new every year.
Commissioner Stern, you indicated you had a question, comment?
Well, it was, I had talked to Sam and Ethan, his business partner, they're down the road from me, and I was under the same kind of assumption that since they had their certificate of occupancy, that when we passed it, that they would have. We've had lengthy conversations, and I've talked with Rhea, and my understanding is it wasn't able to be that way, but that was initially covered under that.
Can I ask a question just about how the timeline works? So if we had our certificate of occupancy in August, before November 1st, then why weren't we ahead of it?
Equalization office doesn't pay attention to certificate of occupancies. That's a planning function. That's something for the planning office. We actually go out and visit building permits in the fall. Typically in the fall, obviously we do reappraisals and we do construction that was not completed last year in the summertime. But in your case with new construction, we were out probably right before, shortly after November 1. That's the first time it was accessible to us. It went on the assessment roll for 26, pay 27 taxes.
I see. Okay. That November was the next.
Yes.
I understand.
Yes.
Mr. Crittman, I do have one more question for you. You indicated that you had been promised that you would get the zero within the discretion. Who promised?
I'm using that as that's my take on it. But Brenna Block was advertising that formula as an incentive, and I view that incentive as a promise, so that's why I use that phrase.
But nobody within the county that works for the county made that promise.
I talked to people at the counter at equalization and planning, and it was made clear that would be available to me.
But you said that the only one that really made the promise was an employee of SEDC. Is that correct?
No, I'd say when I talked to the counter at Equalization and Planning that they, I asked them about the details of it, and they said, yes, this is in place. It's 0 for 5 years. You'll still be taxed on the property and whatever that increases to over the 5 years, but the improvements will not be taxed for 5 years.
When did you get your building permit?
In, I believe it was December of 24. Okay. That's when, at least when we were. It could have been November. We were pouring concrete in December.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately.
Well, you see, I believe this does pose a problem, and I believe it poses a problem because the county, via its, I'm going to say agent, SEDC, we did always advertise the zero discretionary, which was in effect when you got your building permit. I don't think any of us, even as of July, as the building was going on, we didn't plan ahead to change the discretionary formula prior to it coming up. I mean, it wasn't something we planned in February, March, or April.
And I think where you're going is we got to be careful what we say. It's what's available now is 2040-68.
Right.
And what was available then was all zeros. So. Yeah. There's going to be a line somewhere.
I know.
And that's the problem. Where that line hits is maybe unfortunate. Although the 2040-60-80 is still the most competitive rate of anybody in the Hills region.
It still beats Pennington.
It still beats Pennington. The only one better is Butte County, which is still at all zeros. So, well, and there's nothing on the agenda today. And unfortunately, there's that, and it doesn't. Commissioner.
Well, so yeah, I mean,
sorry.
Look, nobody likes it when the laws change and you get caught. But like he said, the example I use is, they could change the tax rates today, and I'd owe more taxes next year on the income I made this year, thinking it was something else. Just the way sometimes it happens, and some people will get hit on that. Now, I don't see the economic development is our agent, not even close. And I have been more than vocal every year about the 2040, needing to go to the 2040-60-80 because the tax break, if you're at all zeros, all the other taxpayers in the county have to make up that difference. I mean, so while I appreciate that you're doing planning, tax laws change. Tax laws hit. Sometimes people get hit. But for you to have the 2040-60-80, that means all your neighbors are paying more taxes to cover your difference. And I've been against that since I've gotten on here. The state makes up the difference if it's at the 2040-60-80. And I think that's the way it should be. We shouldn't be having neighbors subsidize, somebody who might even be a competitor of theirs. So come July 1, there's going to be new statutes at how property taxes are done. That's just the way it is. That's going to apply to people who bought houses or bought commercial, because guess what? The way the legislature's changed some of those property tax laws, you're going to get that pushed back more on commercial. Commercials are going to go up while owner-occupied starts to go down. So those representations are made. And I know it hits your budget. I know it's a projection. It's still a really good program. But I just can't, and I've been fairly clear in it, it doesn't make sense to me to have your neighbors subsidizing your tax break. And especially when at the 2040-60-80, the state makes that up. So it sucks being the one that gets caught in it. But we're at a spot now where there's nothing we can do about it anyway.
Yeah.
We're going to have to move on. We're still in public comment.
Well-
We still have a meeting to go.
The only thing I'm going to say is, Talbot, I'm still going to miss you when you're gone. And
We can,
the only reason why I
You're
said,
the only one.
yeah,
let's have some I love you mans a little bit
Yeah.
later, but we got to move on.
I know, but I want to
respond to that.
finish my comment.
I don't know
I'm
what the
going to
response
say
would be.
the reason why I looked at SEDC as our agent is because we help fund them.
Well, and I've voted to cut that too. So.
We got to move on.
Okay.
Well, okay, I wanted to get on the agenda, but I was told that this would be best for public comment.
But Mr. Krippman, and don't look at our executive director, I was one that made the decision
Okay.
because there is no agenda item that we could do. We can't make a decision on this. So if there's no decision
we can't change it.
we can't change it. So therefore, I'm trying to give you your say to see if it would be, if any of the other commissioners would say that we should put it on the agenda, and I'm not gathering that right now. So because there's no avenue statutorily that we can change, so therefore I made the decision to just make it under public comment.
Okay.
So as the chair, which is my right to do. And I'm always open if another commissioner wishes to put something on the agenda. I don't know what that agenda item would be, simply because there's no decision to be made, unfortunately.
Is there no avenue for changing the effective date? I don't really see what the difference. I appreciate what you were saying about needing to change what you think is too beneficial of a rate, but it did go into our figuring.
Mr. Pittman, we're going to have to move on. If there's something decision that you disagree with us on, I mean, you may have taken another avenue, but this is at this point in time, there's no avenue for us to take.
Yeah, the one clarification, I don't see an avenue. Rhea and I have talked about it. We don't see any kind of avenue. And the other issue is even if we change the discretionary formula back this year, you would still be under the old rate because it's when you come on, is my understanding. It's not what the rate is that year. It's when you come on. So what controls is the year you came on the tax roll.
Okay.
Thank you for coming in, Dave. Sorry I didn't go the way you thought it might. Does anybody else have anything for public comment? Yes, sir. Yeah. If you could come
up
and got to speak in the microphone and announce yourself, please.
So, my name is Steve Scudder, and what I'd like to talk today about isn't a complaint or a gripe, it's just more of a question or a concern. So, it's about the roads. In a previous life, I used to run a blade for 10 years, and I'm very familiar with washboards and gravel roads and how everybody wants their road fixed, and that's not the statement today. The question I have today for the commission is, it's hard to find employees that show up to work, and if that employee shows up every day, that's a good thing. But the question is have they been trained? And what I'd like to ask is, if an individual that's willing to show up to work that maybe isn't a very efficient operator, would you guys consider sending them to a training, a Caterpillar John Deere certification training, to give them some familiarity with the machines and how and what they're doing? So I travel down Avalanche, and the reason that I'm here today is I travel that road quite a bit. And it's to the point on the washboards, and the only way to cut a washboard out is you have to cut it out. Can't put gravel on top of it. It's not going to fix it. So the fact that the operator that's currently running that road, they'll bring more gravel on, we'll fill in the gravel with, or put new gravel down and level the road up, and then 2 days later the washboards are still there. And so that just shows me that there's just a lack of education, right, or a lack of knowing. So my whole thing today is just an ask of, is there a process, or is there a training that they go through, or is it just, here you are, go figure it out? So that's the ask.
Mr. Severn, you're one of the highway liaisons.
As far as I know, most of our training is all in-house.
Okay.
We do have some very good operators.
You talk on your microphone.
We do have some very good people out there that are doing things. And that road in particular, I traveled a lot for
Sure.
what I do for business.
Sure.
The truck traffic on that road is
Yep.
insane.
You bet.
So, and I can't say that they are cutting it out. I mean, I've never been on the road when they fixed it. But as far as actual training goes, as far as I know, I mean, there probably is some online training, some stuff like that, but I think the majority of our training is in-house with our more experienced
Makes sense.
operators.
So that's just the. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, and let's keep this. I usually don't keep these at a back and forth conversation. So,
Okay.
I want to point out, in addition, the state association has an agreement with what we call LTAP, and LTAP comes out and they have training sessions with our new employees, because we don't put someone who has had no experience in a $500,000 machine and say, go to it.
Well, that being said, that machine operator isn't moving 5 gallons worth of gravel on the blade.
And I think I've talked to you on the phone too, and I know Avalanche Road is
horrible.
It is a
Well, and there's to the defense of the county, the gravel you get might not be good, might not be clean. There's all these things that factor in.
Yep.
But the bottom line is, whatever this county considers a grade, degree, percentage, whatever that is, 1, 2, 3, whatever that grade is, that grade has to be continued, and the maintenance that's done when you're going up and down the road, it has to be cut out, and it has to be floated back in. And that road's bad enough right now that you couldn't fix it in a day. You'd have to shut the road down, in my opinion, to do it the right way, because you're going to create a mound of gravel in the middle of that road that's 3 foot tall. But that's what it's going to take for it to be fixed. And so if the individual, if you also want to see how much dirt that individual's moving or gravel they're pushing that day, you can monitor the fuel records on that machine. A machine that's working is going to run about 80 gallons of fuel a day. A machine that's just driving up and down the road is going to burn about 20. And there's an obvious fact of how much work that machine's doing.
Well, thank you for coming in today, Mr. Scudder. We'll especially the highway liaison, we'll visit with our superintendent. He should be here after a little bit too, if you want to have a conversation with him.
No, I'm all good. I just wanted to voice that out. Yep. Thank you very much.
We appreciate you coming in. Anybody else have anything for public comment? Anybody else for public comment? Seeing no one stand up, I'm going to close public comment at this time. Register of deeds. Sheriff's Office.
Good morning, Commissioners, Mr. Chairman, Sheriff Pat West. Don't have a whole lot to discuss, just current numbers are on par for what they were last year as far as calls for service. Our civil numbers are up. As I said last time, along with money collected is almost double. So people have been busy across the board. Deputies responding to calls, things of that nature. As far as anything else, nothing really to add. I got a quarterly update on the commissary account. If you want to put that up, you can see that. Pretty straightforward, but beginning balance was $21,275.
This is just for everyone. I guess this. And I was going to mention, we can go through this now, but this is on the agenda for later. But I think it's appropriate to just go through it now.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's just get it. Let's go it over with. This is item F.
Yeah. So basically, what this is, a commissary account. This is money that is collected through the sales of snacks and miscellaneous things in the jail. Beginning balance on this was $21,275. Pretty self-explanatory, but credits were $15,445, and then debits were $10,981, with an ending balance of $25,739.80. No really any major purchases during the last 3 months. I believe we did purchase an extra router for the jail so that we could have better communications within the jails for like $800. Otherwise, everything else is just miscellaneous items that we purchase that are sold to the inmates. And again, this is something that we hadn't done in the past, but these are just, this is a quarterly statement, so every 3 months we'll be updating you on where we're at. And again, at the end of the year, we would like to maintain a certain amount of balance at the end just for whatever may come up as far as purchases, but anything over that amount of around $15,000, we'll turn that back in and go to the general fund, I assume. Would like to.
I assume you use that money for various items that the inmates might need, like if the TV blows out or mattresses or whatever.
That's correct. Everything that is purchased in reference to this would benefit the inmates. Per national policy, that's what's followed.
A lot of people don't know what it is.
Right. Any other comments? I do want to make a shout out to, we had an incident here a couple days ago involving a standoff, and I wanted to reach out and say thanks to the special response team from Pennington County, Rapid City PD, and the Highway Patrol. Without them, things could be extremely difficult and even more dangerous for our people. So I want to say thank you to those guys. Also, thank you to Sturgis Police Department for covering calls for us while we were dealing with that. It was about a 2 days and 1 night period that we were stretched pretty thin and got a lot of help from them. But end result was nobody got hurt and the bad guy was arrested. So that's all I got.
Questions, comments for the sheriff?
I think it was great that the overtime is down. I think that's great. I think that's great you brought Thomas and Bryce over.
Yes, two extremely educated and veteran people there in that position. Thomas is doing an incredible job trying to manage that overtime, along with the deputy stuff as well. So.
Any other questions, comments?
Thank the men and women for everything they do.
Okay, thanks, Pat. State's Attorney's Office.
Not so much the office, but the UJS system. First off, we have an opening for those who are listening. Turn in applications to the HR for a state's attorney. Second, one of our magistrate judges was appointed a circuit judge in Butte County. So he will be leaving us June 9, and Judge Day is retiring on June 8. Don't know what the magistrate position is going to look like after that. That's appointed by the presiding judge for the circuit. I understand they'll be doing interviews of interested applicants through their process. We hope to have someone in and trained by Raleigh, and that will be up to UJS how that looks, but we're looking at changes. So just a quick update. Thank you.
Again, Treasurer's Office, anyone here?
Oh.
You have an update?
Yeah. Yeah. Needless to say, this is the last couple of days for the first half. The taxes being paid, so Robin will not be up here. Again, she's frustrated with the lack of response from Pier. We've been trying for weeks, if not months, to get the title for that one pickup. And she was informed by Pier that they're working on the December titles at this point in time. So, difficult.
Real good. We want to auditor.
Morning, Commissioners. Dawn Christensen, Auditor. We have the March report with the apportioning numbers, the court-appointed attorney fees, court costs, liens, our voter registration numbers, which compared to last month We had almost 200, an increase of 200. Our big project right now is the election and preparing for that. Our absentee voting did start on Friday. We received our ballots on Friday. We started voting Friday afternoon. We sent out all of the mail absentees that we had applications for, and yesterday we had about 20 voters in the office.
Really?
With the road district elections, Golden Valley, I believe that was the one that was at our last meeting. They did change their map, so they are starting the process over with their petitions. And coming up at our next meeting, we have on the consent calendar today to set some hearings for malt beverage renewals and some new applications that we have received.
Good.
Do you want to give us a...
Dawn, did you get a copy of their new map?
I do, yes, and Ken also reviewed their new map.
Can you just send me a copy then?
I'd appreciate one too, please.
Assuming they took that ground, the other development ground in, which makes it for them long term. What's that? Boss, that's how they did.
Yeah, the legal descriptions were all by the lots, and there was a space, relatively small, but nonetheless it was within the boundaries, but not legally described. So it made the map and survey not be accurate. They started over Shannon baseline survey and redrew the boundaries and started over.
So, okay. I thought, wow, they comments to heart. I guess not. Just like my kids.
Thank you. Tanya noticed that after the fact, you know, when it first came in, you know, we're not not specifically trained and we missed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were understanding and understood that they have to start over. So.
Yeah. Okay.
You could send us all an updated map. I'd appreciate it. Give us an update on elections. We're voting now downstairs, I believe.
Yes, voting started on Friday. Our office hours are 8 to 5, so anybody can come in and absentee vote Monday through Friday, 8 to 5.
So that fiasco is with everything coming together is over. So, okay. Thank you. And it wasn't fiasco on our part. It was the state that was behind
Right,
that.
waiting for ballots, yes.
Well, and even in defense of the Secretary of State's office, just the way the statutes are lining up, it's basically impossible given how many ballot measures and how many different ballots you've got to have and how late all the filings are to get them all done and issued.
It was a very tight timeline with when petitions were due and challenges that they had and the time that they had to verify everything.
Yeah.
Would you share again how many ballots we have?
Our total number of ballot styles is 157.
I thought you had 50.
I think that account was for the Republican styles, but then we add the non-political and federal.
Oh.
There's
So
47
157. There's 41 precincts.
41, sorry. Okay. So, yeah.
So, and just so everybody understands, that means there's 157 different ballots that have to get to the right people that fall within all those jurisdictions.
Right. There will be some precincts that have 6 ballots. There will be some precincts that have just 3 ballots. It depends on the splits within the precinct.
Well, good job keeping all that together.
Yeah, our team has learned a lot and has worked well.
I think it's just one more indication of why hand counting could be a real disaster.
Let's move on then. C2, new Meade County payment and collection policy.
I would like to invite Senior Deputy Auditor Chris Little up. She has taken the lead on the new policy, and she has also built many good relationships with both our debtors and gotten advice from several people to help with the new policy.
Commissioners, you have on your desk what she'll be going over.
So you should have a copy of the old policy and the new policy. Yesterday, Commissioner Wyzorek did question what type of lien that we would be applying, and through talking with the Register of Deeds office, we think we do need to remove the word property where it talks about the lien in the first sentence. So that would just say Meade County can place a lien against the debtor until the balance is paid in full. And Chris, do you have anything to add about the new policy?
Good morning. We basically wanted to update the policy. As you can see from the old policy.
Sorry, Miss Little, could you identify yourself?
Yes, my name is Chris Little. I'm Senior Deputy Auditor.
Thank you.
We wanted to update the payment policy on the poor liens. And when you look at the old policy, I think you can see that it did need some updating. And we tried to make it a little more, the guide a little bit better for a standard operating procedure and not do the percentages. We were trying to give them a flat rate as to how to pay their debts. We have been playing with it a little bit. I think in our office we've established a little bit better relationships with the debtors, and we are seeing a better return. So, and we started a collection. We started the collections back up again, and that hadn't been done since 2021 is what we could go back to.
There was maybe a handful sent to collections in 2023. Laura took on the project of sending accounts to collections, and she sent 2,900 accounts to collections with over $4 million that we need to collect. And yeah, those are accounts dating back to 2021.
Any questions on this from the commission? My question is for...
Chris, I appreciate you guys working on it. It's kind of been a long couple of years to transition and get this kind of all tracked out and kind of caught up. And appreciate you check on that statutory site because I was a little concerned about that. I like the idea of removing property because really it's just a lien against the debtor, which will automatically also become a lien against real estate, but that's basically a general lien out there.
Would agree. Mr. Klebrad, could you come forward?
And I think the form is excellent in its form.
Thank you. Our team worked on it for quite a while and presented the first draft. And when Ria was working with our team to Commissioner Deering, and we had the state's attorney's office working with us to proof it.
Yeah, we've been working on this for a while.
Yes.
What, do you see anything?
No.
Any concerns?
You know, we have a lot of liens for court-appointed attorneys. We don't collect all that much of it. I've been here 20 years. To my knowledge, we've never enforced on one. Separately from, we get some when property sells, the lien gets satisfied. But doing a separate action against a property owner, we've never done.
Yeah.
But it's certainly available.
Yeah. Aside from the lien, do you see anything in the document-wise that any concern? Okay.
It's all about whether the auditor has the ability to compromise. We just tell people they're willing to work.
Real good.
I think we did pass something one time that said you had to make a minimum of a $20 payment or something like that, didn't we?
Well, there's something in the old policy that
yeah, not in that, but...
And there is in this one.
Yeah.
If there's no more questions, comments, any more questions, comments? If not, take action to approve this policy.
Make a motion to approve the policy as presented with the one.
Second.
Motion and second on the floor. You guys tied. I'll go to Commissioner Creed. The second, to approve this policy with the change that taking property out and just saying debtor in that first paragraph. Any discussion to that motion?
Yeah, again, I just echo the earlier comments. Ken's right. These act as general liens, so if somebody has real property that they inherit, their name gets on, if from them ever sell it, they have to clear the judgment. Why we don't collect that much? We'll collect sometimes, and I think something that we got to stay on top of and for the benefit of the taxpayers.
Any other questions, comments to the motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you for coming up.
Thank you, Commissioners.
C3, 2025 and 26 year-to-date overtime report. Up on the screen.
Tried to log in here a couple
I keep
times.
trying to press my button about every 2-3 minutes.
Now when I try to say flip over, it just says the pages.
Are there any questions, comments on the overtime report? Okay, let's move on. I don't see Highway Superintendent Eastman here. Right, yeah, is planning, are you ready for your, okay, let's go skip highway and go to planning. See on E1 on the agenda.
I don't have my agenda. I'm trying to remember what I'm trying to remember what I'm supposed to say on this one. Okay. Well, I thought we were making a slight edit on that one. Okay.
Tanya Vague, Planning Director. The preliminary plat for, Lot 1A and Lot 1B and the well lot of Bakken subdivision, I have removed that from the consent calendar and placed it as an agenda item for a request to change the motion that was made on April 6th by the Planning Board. After the motion had suggested that 139th Place be brought up to county standards. During that meeting, Baseline Survey had not done a thorough assessment of 139th Place. After the meeting, Baseline, Shannon Bosnick and I went out there and measured 139th Street. We're supplying you an exhibit of what we found out there in the field for 139th. It averages 27 feet wide from edge of surface to edge of surface, and as you go up to Elk Creek Road, that is an asphalt area that's at a stop sign, so it's a wider with radius points on it. So the plan, we would like to send the project back to planning for reconsideration of the motion, apply for a variance for the plot to have a 27-foot road versus a 28, and then represent the preliminary plat. I have spoken to Mr. Zork about this,
Sure.
pulling it off the consent calendar.
Mr. Vosnes, you.
Shannon Boston's Baseline Surveying. All I'd like to add is basically what Tanya went over. Error on my part. One, I forgot to apply for the variance for the road improvement to be brought up to county specs, and also the information provided now is something I should have had at that meeting, so that planning could have made had that information in front of them before they made a decision. But so again, like Tanya went over, we're just asking for it to go back to planning for reconsideration of the variance.
Okay, so that would take action. This is a new one. So it'd take action, I assume, to send it back to planning. So.
Well, yeah. So the issue is, yeah. So I was one of the big proponents on making them bring it up to county spec. I drove that road afterwards and saw that it's actually wider than 28 there at the top. The width's pretty good. The hard thing is the road's actually in pretty good shape through kind of this lot, and then gets kind of worse and narrower as you go up. Frankly, I think the county's going to have to take a look at this road with all the, we're probably just going to have to get on a plan for a rebuild. So when Tanya and I talked about it, given how it's coming, the reason we're taking it off consent is because we're not adopting what the planning did. What I'm envisioning is I'm going to make a motion to adopt the recommendations of planning, with the exception that that submit a variance that to the planning. And since the road variance, planning sits as Board of Adjustment for that, or it has to hit up here still. Yeah, because then we would grant the variance as the commission next time it comes around, but we don't have the variance in front of us. It has to run through planning.
Sure. So question, and Ken, just a quick question on procedure. So we could do it the way you just suggested, Commissioner Weisork, or if we just take no action, would that could go back to planning, could still take it up then.
Well, I don't think you want to take no action because then it's pending. If you want to just do a motion to send it back to planning for reconsideration given the new information.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think a no action means it's still sitting in front of you and not going back.
Okay, I understand.
So if that's the preference, I could just make the motion to send it back to planning for reconsideration based on the new information.
That'd be wonderful.
Okay, so that's my motion.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Motion and second on the floor to send this back to planning for reconsideration. Any discussion to that motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in today, Shannon. Any word where Troy's at? Okay. Rolling dice. You guys are here. If you guys be comfortable coming forward, our superintendent, highway superintendent's not here yet, but okay. You guys, yeah, we'll go to highway D1.
There he is. Perfect timing.
There it is. Yeah, good morning.
Morning.
Morning there. My name's Gary Muse, president of the Rolling Dice Road District. Yep.
My name's Rick Gornt, also a member of the Rolling Dice Road District.
Yeah, if you guys would just describe what you're wanting to do, I'll give you about just 3 minutes. Just give us a description of what you're wanting to do.
This all started, last year. We started talking about after you guys did the road stabilization down on the Dias Avenue in 224th. So we started looking into that deal. And then when we started talking to Rich and Troy, Rich made the comment of a grant or county helping us out, and as Troy put it back, for all the gravel we have put on the county road there that leads up to the hill, that they'd be willing to work with us on coming in and helping us out, finish that mile of Dias, and they'd furnish the equipment and pay for their share of the stabilization, and we just kind of took off from there. We was kind of looking at going into maybe 2030 to get our money put together for that, and all of a sudden things come around, started looking pretty nice to do this, and it's kind of Roy put it best. We've always had a good working relationship with the county, the highway department, and with the commissioners in the past. And we've never, every time they've helped us, we've always paid for it. I mean, that's kind of been a misunderstanding from neighboring districts that they think you guys are coming and doing this stuff for free. But we actually, in the original agreement from 2017, there's always been a price to pay, whatever the lease amount is or labor, however you guys put it to us, that we've always agreed to pay everything. We didn't want nothing for free. We want to pay our way. Just looking for a little help here and there to help improve our roads, better the community. We always try and always talk about safety of my biggest deal is the school bus, the school route, because going up that hill that leads into our deal, that's been a big priority to get that hill in shape, which is the county's, but so this has all come forward to do a cost share deal to work with each other.
Real good. You guys got about a minute left. You want to have anything to add?
No, I don't.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, comments from the commission? So essentially what I understand we're going to basically be working with you guys on the road district and we'll mainly supplying labor and
equipment, just because it's hard for a road district to buy a road grader to do this kind of work. So basically it's off our rental agreement, annual rental agreement pricing that we provide every year, and we can use it to our discretion. If we're able to work on a road for someone, that's great, but we don't always have that ability. But with Dias and 224th being as busy as it is, and we've already done most of the work in that area, we yeah, we find that it's probably a benefit to both of the county and the road district to do this project.
So you see no problem with the agreement?
And like in the original deal is, you know, they was going to take up 224th up to Trade Court, which is a little over a quarter of a mile to a third of a mile. And we've always, you know, through the property lines, county took that part on and we took the other 223rd and Lucky Lane. We took on that share of the county's road while you guys took on that first section going up that hill to Trade Court. We've also agreed to stay involved in it. So like our involvement is, we'll blade that once or twice a year. We've added all the gravel to it. We take care of the ditches, you know, just kind of help out with the road. And because it's a benefit to us, I know that, to take care of that.
Any other questions, comments from the commission? We have a policy in place, correct me if I'm wrong, that allows road districts to come in such as they're doing. Is that correct? Anybody?
Yes.
This is allowable is what I'm asking.
Yes.
Adopted rates in the whole bit. So.
Any other questions, comments, and/or action? Ken, you just have no problems with this? Okay. Nothing legal in the document that we should, obviously.
So is there? Apologize with our board docs down, but I don't remember seeing like you guys have a letter kind of outlining what you want done. I mean, is that what we're adopting and saying to do, or what are we adopting here?
I thought there was an agreement that was wrote up.
Is there a written agreement written up?
To my knowledge, I thought there was.
We've got a written agreement right here. I've got one copy of what the written agreement is.
Well, if maybe, and we can.
It's on board docs.
Is board docs
board
up?
docs?
If you'd like some time, Commissioner Wazorek.
No, I
come
mean,
back to this.
yeah, I didn't see this really as I mean, basically, are we just adopting that we're going to meet their proposal? Is that what you're looking at, Troy?
Yeah, I mean, if we need to write this up in different terms or whatever, but basically, yeah, this is the process, what we're going to do in the areas. I mean, a map or something might be a little bit clearer, but yeah, this is what we had talked about, and it's fine by me, or I agree to it from the highway department.
I seen in an email here where we were talking about somebody who's not a county employee running a roller. So my question would be is, if we're renting equipment or letting somebody who's not a county employee run our equipment, if something happens to that equipment or that person running that, who's liable?
Well, and you're bringing up a good point, Commissioner Severn. And I had a conversation with Commissioner Liggett as well, but I don't feel that if it's our equipment or if we rent it, I feel it should be one of our employees that runs it.
That's why I was asking. I just seen the email.
Yeah, and that's why I cut you off, because I don't think we should allow anybody else to run it. If you guys go rent it, I guess I don't care who runs it. But if it's us renting or our equipment, it should be our employees.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I read that through that email.
I agree.
wasn't real comfortable with somebody else running
and I don't,
county equipment.
No, as long as that, I noticed that as well. I'm glad you brought that up.
The only time we've ever allowed a non-county employee to run our equipment was Kevin Forrester. And that was because he knew how, and he was retired from here.
Would the commission like some more time to look this document over? If so, we can take this up a little later, or we can take it up next meeting.
Well, guys,
or do we have
what's
action?
the timing to get this done?
I mean, we have time. We could do the work at any moment, really. So we have the product available, but we have plenty of other work to do in the next month before we'd ever think about starting this, more than likely. So we can take time if you'd like.
Next meeting?
But why wouldn't we just go ahead and pass it? Everybody's here.
Well, Commissioner Wazorek was on to look over the document.
I'm fine with authorizing Troy to do the work and that's outlined here, and then I can pass that to the extent then if Ken, when you look at it, if you think there, and why don't you talk to Troy a little bit about if you think there needs to be some more memorializing of the writing. So yeah, the resolution would have to include kind of the term.
So let's bring this back next meeting.
Okay, so why don't you work with Ken, let's get it laid out so everybody knows what we're doing, make sure that we don't, I make a good living where people do things on handshakes and then later decide they didn't really agree.
Yeah.
So why don't we kind of get that written up in a resolution with all the terms so we can pass it that way. But
Okay.
I think it makes good sense. I think what you're doing here makes great. And the issue with you guys on the road district, appreciate you being on the road district. There's fewer and fewer, it seems, neighbors willing to help out their neighbors and just think things work magically, gets done somehow. So it's giving you your time, and that's what makes a community.
Okay. So do I need to be back for the next commissioners meeting then?
That's certainly up to you.
Yeah, I mean, if you agree to the resolution as
Yeah.
presented, I want to see that we'd need you back. But if you want to come back,
I haven't looked at my work schedule to see if I'm
Certainly.
gonna be-
No,
we can work
yeah,
it out.
Yeah,
If I'm here, I'll be here. But
Yep, sure. Yeah, it's
if not,
up to
you
you.
can rely on Troy.
Like I say, I think we're all thinking this is a good idea to do.
Right.
So therefore, just making sure everything's right within the agreement is the only concern right now. So, if you want to come back to answer questions or so on and so forth, it's certainly up to you. Yep. Thank you guys for coming in today.
Thank you.
Let's rush through highway. Asphalt surface treatments we had last meeting.
Yes, we postponed the awarding of the bid to review the documents and everything, checks out there. So I would recommend to award the bid to the lowest bidder.
Sure. Ken, could you come forward, please? I think I asked this last time, but everything checked out statutorily.
Yes. Yeah, you had me review the documents last time.
Yep. Okay. Yep. Thank you. Could you remember what the numbers were?
I can look back at my phone. I didn't bring I know, Don, you sent them to me after we scanned them in, but I will have them here in a second. I guess it was Chris that sent them to me, sorry. I think I have it right here. Okay, so bituminous paving, bid price was $2,597,193.60. And Simon Contractors was $2,903,635.45.
I was thinking when I read that there was sure a difference between the engineering estimate and reality.
Yeah, the engineer estimate was 1.88 million roughly.
When was the engineering estimate? When did that take place?
They did that when they completed the plans, so probably prior to the Iran thing.
That's what I was going to ask, prior to the fuel going up astronomically, is what my guess is. Questions, comments from the commission, and/or action?
I'll make a motion to approve asphalt treatment service to the lowest bidder by bituminous paving.
Second.
Motion is second on the floor to approve the bid from bituminous, which is the lowest bidder. Any discussion to that motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. D3, request for proposal. You guys, we moved that from last meeting as well?
Yeah, the base table, we couldn't get that on there due to board docs complications here, so I'd like to push that again to the next meeting.
Real good. D4, joint powers agreement for weed spraying services.
Yep, that's the annual weed and pest agreement that we usually do every year. So I don't know if the document's available. I have it, the one that we need to sign down in my truck. I forgot to carry that up here with me, but.
And when does this have to be approved by?
That's a good question. I'm not that familiar with it. As you know, Nate Jagum is the weed and pest supervisor. He isn't here with me today, but I could find out and get back to you here at the end of by a few minutes.
Should the weed board hasn't met for a while either. I wonder if they should review this before it even comes to us.
Might be a good idea.
Sure. Okay. Well, let's just move that to next meeting as well.
Okay.
Do you have the North Haines Avenue amendment before us? Do you have that here?
Yeah, I have it on my phone as well. And it is, obviously more money because the extra work and inspection, stuff like that.
Basically, in its agreement with HDR to be our on-site rep and do the inspections while the work's being done on North Haines. Right?
Yeah. And there's an increase in the...
Is it an increase? Is this just, it's new duties, is my understanding reading the document.
Right, yep. So basically, the amendment is up for $160,000, and it's, like you said, to do the inspection and oversee the project as it's taking place.
Yeah, so they'll be out there making sure compaction's being done correctly, and
yep,
the soils are good, and they're not out there working in the mud.
So we're asking essentially for an engineer on site that we.
It's a owner
quality control kind of thing.
Basically, an owner's rep, which is kind of how I think of it. But I just look at it and go, like, I should have just done 4 years and be an engineer, as spent 7 years and be a lawyer. But but
then you can argue over shaking hands.
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
Keep focused on the.
So I make a motion to approve the proposed contract.
I'll second.
Motion is second to approve this contract, North Haines Avenue amendment. Any discussion to that motion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Pleasant Valley Detour Route Agreement.
This has to do with the construction project where they're putting the pipe underneath the interstate from basically the Blacksburg side over to the National Cemetery side. And that's why they require this detour that has to go through Pleasant Valley Drive. And there's really no other way or option for them to do that. And basically they state that they're just going to put it back to as good as condition as prior to the project is what they're stating.
Questions, comments, or would you rather wait and have a chance to look this over?
And there is time. I mean, the project doesn't bid for a little while, so I just put it on here in case there was questions or review, because it was brought forward earlier with the original agreement. So this is a second part of that wasn't included in the first one with the additional roads at Bulldog Road and everything like that. So this is just an addition to that.
Well, let's just bring it back then if there's some time.
Okay.
So we have some. Want to go back real quick to the on the bid award that we just did, the D2. We'll have to that was in our assignments. I remember right, so we'll have to assign that toward the budget.
Okay.
So just before that goes out, make sure that gets done.
All right. Yeah, and there's some documents that we'll have to sign too. So.
Sure. Yep. Okay. Thanks, Troy, for coming in.
Yep. Thank you.
Next on the agenda, we do have a 10 o'clock hearing, which is scheduled today, which is the second reading of Ordinance 27. Ordinance regulating fireworks, campfires, burn piles, burn pits, dumps, and other incendiary devices. Basically, the biggest change is to be able to, for the chairman of the commission and the sheriff, to enact an emergency ban in between meetings. That is the biggest change, essentially. And the rally.
Yes, and the rally aspect.
Just automatically always have rally within that ordinance.
And then the tannerite targets.
Oh, yeah, we took tannerite so that if the fire danger is high, they can't shoot fire or tannerite at shooting ranges.
We moved it as a firework rather than an exemption. The language of 2.1.3 was changed. That is we took out the consultation with local fire and changed it to may extend to the next meeting rather than shall, so that if it just needs to be a 2-day deal because of a change in weather patterns, that is acceptable. Would emphasize again that we do currently have a ban in place, burn ban in place, regardless of the changes of this ordinance that's still there. Had an event yesterday. There's a little snow on the ground and it had rained, so I thought it'd be okay. Well, the ban's still in place.
And the other one is notification. Currently is to notify the chairman and the sheriff if a fire chief so chooses to allow a burn within their area, and we're changing that to they have to notify dispatch.
Dispatch, correct.
Yeah.
Which their internal policies is to notify you both anyway.
And Sheriff West and I were at the Meade County Firefighters meeting last Thursday and went over that with them. I've got to open this up to the public. Does anybody from public wish to speak to this hearing? Scott, if you want to come forward, would you come forward, please? I'm asking everyone else, but I'm going to tell you either to come forward and introduce yourself. If you just introduced yourself.
Scott Linzegrab, Fire Chief of Sturgis and the President of the Meade County Firefighters Board.
You and I discussed some of these. You'd like changes, right? You don't see any problems?
I don't see any problems with what we're moving forward with. It'd be nice to be able to put that in act when we need to put it in act instead of having to wait. So.
Okay. Anybody else wish to come forward and speak to this ordinance? Anybody else? If not, I'll close public testimony. Any other questions, comments from the commission? And or action?
I move adoption.
Second.
I got a motion second to move adoption of the second reading and final passage of the ordinance 27 changes. Any discussion to that motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thanks, Scott. Let's take a break. brings us to commission, H1. Do you recall what was in communique?
You know, this is like the olden days when I first came on the commission. And there was only one copy of everything, and it started being handed to the chair, and then the chair would read it and hand it to the next, and to the next, and to the next.
Hey, we got an update.
No.
We got an update from the Board of Minerals and Environment. Just going over their agenda.
Attached were the agenda, a copy of the minutes, and a copy of the consent calendar.
Okay. Is that all that was in communique? Okay, we got Meade County Housing Payment in lieu of Taxes confirmation. You guys would like to come forward?
They were hoping you wouldn't call on them.
Hey, don't
Yeah,
have
right.
to come forward. And I did have a conversation with you guys. If we do have questions about the document, we may have to go to the next meeting. But, if you'd like to describe or tell us what you're in here for and what this is about.
Lori, will you turn your mic on, please? Oh, hit the little button. Thank you.
Hello.
Here you are.
My name's Lori Hoppy. This is Beth Wheeler. We are from Meade County Housing. We are proposing a letter to be approved by the Meade County Board requesting that we continue to pay payment in lieu of taxes for a nonprofit entity called Hillsview Management. It's not created yet, but we want to create that under the umbrella of Meade County Housing. As we talked about before at a previous county commission meeting, we're switching from public housing to Section 8 project-based assistance. So HUD is asking us to create a nonprofit, but we wanted to ensure that we could continue to pay the pilot, the payment in lieu of taxes. Right now we do, I think Rhea has up there, we file the tax exempt application each year, and then we do pay the payment in lieu of taxes to the county as well. So we'd like to continue that with the nonprofit. That's what we're asking.
So you're essentially asking if this nonprofit is formed, if we will
Continue
let you continue to pay.
as is, since we're an umbrella under Meade County Housing.
Are we allowed to make a promise like that?
If I might ask what your timeline is, what your expectations are for creating. This board can't bind a future board.
That's what I was...
Well, I mean, if it's going to take you 3 years to accomplish this, then we can't commit to that. If you're going to complete it, when does the tax exempt have to be? When does it have to be submitted for consideration? Or?
November 1.
November 1. If it's going to be completed by November 1, you're fine.
You know, earlier we passed some sort of resolution approving, recommending the change in procedure. This has been a multi-step process that's been going on for, 6-8 months. It's all a national HUD thing that they really don't have any choice about.
We are hoping...
Board changes in January. So
we are hoping to have it done by November 1st, but it's in motion to be approved. We don't have a final date, but we are hoping to have it done before the end of the year.
Sure. But
Mr. Chair, we do have language in Section 2 that's on the screen right now that talks about their exemption will continue if.
And that's what I was saying. I mean, the best, I think, and Ken, correct me if I'm wrong, the best we can do is say from what we can see, we would more than likely agree to this. But there would also be nothing that we can bind, because if there's something that's different within the document when this happens, we could reverse that decision. So there's really, action today really wouldn't do anything.
I think it highlights that statutorily we are allowed to, under the housing, recognize the other nonprofit organization as a continuation of the exempt status.
Sure.
And that is true. Appreciate that it took me 4 or 5 emails to figure out what pilot stood for.
Okay.
When it came down, it was
was
always pilot project, and it's like,
So we did do a little bit of research, and I've learned a whole lot more than I knew about this program a couple weeks ago, actually, just with Lori and Ken's assistance. And they are statutorily obligated to pay a 5% on their shelter rent. Am I saying that correctly? And they have agreed that they have an agreement with Meade County to currently pay 10%.
Any other questions, comments?
So this is just kind of just an informational deal, because we can't really take
Well, that's the way I'm taking it
Yeah.
as, because because we could act on it and say we will allow this, but then when this actually happens, we could also take that off. So I don't know what action today would do. So I'm taking this more as information. From what I'm seeing, I, as one commissioner, would suspect that we would allow this. But that's about as, I don't see how we can make a promise.
I put it on the agenda for informational purposes so that you could see what the letter that I was signing. I don't expect any changes, but I didn't want it to be a surprise to somebody down the road that I had signed this letter.
Yeah, because the law could change, there could be something else, something could happen to the project that would cause some issues.
And I think Lori's legal, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they're looking for something just in a direction that that Meade County doesn't see anything changing in the future, so they can keep moving forward with this project.
Right. So from what we know today, but that's the same conversation we got into this morning with the discretionary formula. From what we know today, that if there's no changes, then it looks like this would be granted. Now, this is no promise, because if there is a change or something comes up different, then, so that's why I hate I don't even want to say this on the dais, because to make a promise, we really can't do that. But it looks like it would be. According to equalization, you would agree?
Yes.
Anybody else have anything to add? I don't see that there's really any action we can take.
I can't see any rules changing that the high rise would suddenly be billed as a for-profit apartment complex.
Right. I can't foresee anything either.
No.
Yeah. Anybody have anything to add? Well, thank you guys for coming in. I appreciate it.
I have a question, if I can. So would we come back then if we decide to create the nonprofit? Do we need to come back for permission?
I think the nonprofit's got to be created before that decision can be made. Is that correct?
I don't think so. I think you just apply for your exempt status under the new nonprofit.
And just move
and
forward that way?
And if there's an issue with that, then that's addressed in equalization, and then it gets to the board if it's rejected for some reason.
Like I said, it'd have to be established before the decision can be made. So
so we would just go through the process once that happens.
Yeah.
Just like you originally filled out the form for.
So we're not able to get pre-approval, is what the board's saying.
I don't see any.
No, I don't think you can, because you have to apply
avenue.
annually for the exempt status, just in case something changes.
Okay. So we're not able to get a letter from the equalization office?
I will sign this letter, Lori, and I will send it to you.
This letter is based on what we know. I'm confirming that it's okay.
That's all I know.
As the executive director, that's what she's doing.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I just needed clarification.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for coming in today. Okay. Brings us to H3, brick grant for Bear Butte Valley Water.
Why don't you show me recused on this one?
Right, minutes reflect that Commissioner Wyzorik will recuse himself from this. How are you today?
Oh, okay. Kaylee Snyder with the Black Hills Council of Local Governments. So I'm here today on behalf of Bear Butte Valley Water. They are looking to apply for the BRIC grant. So I'll just kind of go through what that grant is and then the request they're looking for from the county. So it is a FEMA-approved grant that was recently announced. It was a program that was canceled, went through litigation, and now it's come back. So it's a 24-25 funding. There's $2 million that is available for our statewide for various mitigation projects. So basically, Bear Butte Valley Water is unable to apply. They would need the county to apply on their behalf. And they're looking to apply for 3 generators for the pump station, 3 pump stations on that system. So that would be the first item that would be needed, would be whether or not the county would be agreeable to be the applicant on their behalf. The second item, so this, due to the funding and the way that everything's kind of gone with FEMA, we've got a very short window to apply. The application is due on June 5th, so that gives us 1 month. The State of South Dakota Office of Emergency Management has requested that applicants submit a letter of intent by May 1st for any projects that they're looking to apply for that. So the second item I would be looking for is if the county, again, was agreeable to be the applicant on their behalf, to also allow Black Hills Council to submit the letter of intent on behalf of the county for that application.
Okay, so you're asking us we have to apply. You guys are going to, it wouldn't take any of the county staff time, and you guys are going to do the
Yeah, so I would complete the application. There are a few documents that may be required for signature. Sure. I would be back next month to gather those. But I would imagine that aside from actually submitting the application, there would be very little county involvement or need of
You guys
staff.
can't, we just have to apply for you guys, is it?
Correct, yes.
Bob, would you care to come forward?
There was just the 2.
Bob Kaufman, Board of Directors, Bear Butte Valley Water. Yes, we just need you to act as signatories for the project. We will do all the engineering work. We have our engineers do it. And everything related to it will go through us. There will be some legal things that Talbot would review. So again, I guess we're looking for signatures.
When you say Talbot, you're referring to Talbot as Bear Butte Valley's attorney.
As Bear Butte Valley's attorney, yes.
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
Yeah. I want to put him under the thumb, too, since he made me come up here.
Hence the reason he's recusing himself from this,
yes.
But thank you. Okay, it makes sense to me. Any other questions, comments, and or action?
I'd make a motion for the county.
Second.
Motion and second to have the county act as the applicant for the Bear Butte Valley Water for this BRIC grant. Any discussion to that motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you guys for coming in.
Thank you.
Oh, the letter as well, to allow Black Hills Council to submit the letter of intent.
Okay, we get a motion, you'll get action to approve that letter as well.
I would also make a motion to
Second.
Motion and second on the floor to approve the letter to allow Black Hills Council. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yep.
Any discussion to that motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Brings us to H4. It's a resolution 2026-11, which is a resolution authorizing the transfer of a warning siren to the City of Faith. Do you have that to pull up?
Goodbye.
Essentially, we decommissioned these warning sirens and we put it out to the communities that if they would like to take it over. Fred Holm is the fire chief up there. He called me. I put him in coordination. Ben and him have been talking. Ken, have you looked this resolution over?
have, and the only substantive change I made from the initial was to indicate that it had already been surplused with an effective date, if I recall right, it's May 1. So other than that, and they made that change to the document. It's in fine form and ready.
So what's in the resolution is
Yes.
fine with you? Okay. Any questions, comments, and/or action?
2026-11.
Motion is second on the floor to adopt resolution 2026-11. Any discussion to that motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. You just will stay right there, Ken, because I'm going to have a question on the next document. Brings us to H5, Operation Combating Veterans Suicide Bingo Notice. It's a document asking for them to allow bingo and at campground, I believe. I did have a question. I did talk to Ken on this. My concern with their application is they're asking forever, which that concerns me a bit. I don't know statutorily if one, we can allow it, or maybe it is allowable, but go ahead, Ken. Would you explain the statutes on that?
Bingo is illegal gambling unless it fits within particular parameters, and this does. Did you post the statute? Is it available? I'm just trying to recall a specific language, whether it's just notification or approval. I don't believe.
I believe what you told me is that we can either A, approve or deny their application. I thought you said we could approve it or not approve it, but we could say we'd approve it to the end of the year or something like that. I believe is what you told me.
Yeah, I get your concern. Again, you're binding a future board, which means the issue can be revisited at any time. If you discover that they're doing it at a different location, okay, then they're breaking the law and they can be cited for gambling.
My basic concern with forever is number one that, but the other thing is there'd be no way of. I think it's appropriate to have every once in a while to revisit these. So I've never seen one forever. Usually someone has to have a raffle during the rally, and that's it. It's for maybe a week or two. I don't have any problem with what this is going for. I just don't know how to keep track of that. When some sheriff would go out there, which they wouldn't in this case, I would be surprised, and they say, oh yeah, the commission did back in 2026, and it's 10 years from now. They granted this approval. So I guess I would recommend, I think it would just be bad policy to allow something, quote unquote, forever on something like this.
So considering that Chairman Deering and I did have that conversation, I took the liberty to prepare a resolution that you can certainly look at, change however you.
And I also think if we're going to extend it more than just for an event, I think it'd be better policy to have a resolution, one, for the people asking, so that they have a document that they can, if someone asks, they have something to go back to.
Well, as a fellow commissioner, I wouldn't vote for that. We can't vote for something forever.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So
that's my point.
This resolution has an ending date of December 31, 2026. We could ask them to come back next year and provide another application.
I think it would be better to have it on a yearly basis, just to keep it in check. Seemed to make sense if you have it terminate at the end of the year, like when people are coming in for liquor licenses, to just kind of be the same thing. Here, I'm not familiar with the charitable organization.
I mean, we don't even know them.
Well, the point being, I'm sure one thing that I would say is, I don't either, but I'm sure these, I didn't say this, but I'm sure these kind of things are happening all the time. They're at least coming in and asking to have this raffle, if you will. There's raffles that are happening throughout the county all the time.
Yeah, but isn't this bingo?
This bingo raffle and saying the same.
I think that, our HR director told me that when she, has some experience in gaming, that the most money you can make is on bingo. And I don't know if we even want to
Bingos and raffles are handled differently.
Okay.
If you're doing a statewide raffle, then it's all approved by the state. If you're doing a local raffle only, then we get involved. But it's illegal if you don't get the approval. Either way.
The point I was making is let's either move on or we'll take action on this. If we'd like to request this organization come in and before we take action, that's fine with me as well.
And what the statute requires is a 30 days notice, and you can go ahead unless the body objects. So our resolution is an objection to continuing beyond the end of the year. In essence, it fits under the statute that way.
Well, the resolution is we haven't, and I guess you could.
I would like to know, simple thing of, what do they charge for this bingo? I mean, you can go down there to the vet club. I understand it's like $10 or something. I don't know. I mean, we have no idea if this is a $1 deal, a $100 deal.
Okay, if I'm not hearing any action on this, let's just move on. And if this organization would like to come in next time, we'll put it on the agenda. If they choose not to come in.
Do I understand, Ken, that if we don't take action today, that they have permission?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, they present 30 days notice before they can begin. They can begin unless the board and the governing body does not pass a resolution objecting thereto, they can continue.
But a whole bunch of things could happen here. We could object the application and then accept the resolution. We could object, couldn't we?
Yes, you could object to their application in whole. Then they could start the process over. You could, in my view, by limiting the time frame, the resolution that's essentially we're saying go for it, other than you can only do it to the end of the year. That is objecting to the application beyond that time.
Yes.
I think it allows them to continue forward, but you are objecting to doing it more than the end of the year.
All right. I'll make a motion to object to the application based on the fact that I don't feel we have sufficient information to know.
Second.
Motion is second on the floor to object this application. Any discussion to that motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Anything else on this subject? Okay, let's move on down to commission updates. Any commissioners have anything to update? Updates?
Well, one was the housing. The other was Black Hills Council. It looks like for this coming year's budget, we may be looking at having to spend some additional money again to fight the Forest Service. Currently, we spent $8,000 for Mr. Iverson to represent us for a couple of years.
Any other updates from the commission? Oh, I mentioned mine already. I met with the... Oh, yeah, I already mentioned mine, rural firefighters.
The other issue, I'll just, since Rich isn't here to say it, seeing a lot of campaign signs. 4x8s sitting in a ditch. So, those need to come out, and the county might be taking them out if people got them there.
Chairman, the highway department has removed some signs. This last week they did.
Yeah, I have been surprised that there are some campaign signs hanging on DOT fencing along the interstate. I've been surprised that the DOT hasn't removed those.
So keep campaign signs off the right-of-ways. Okay, no more updates. We'll move on. Let's move down to consent. Action to approve the consent calendar.
Make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Second.
Motion is second to approve the consent calendar. Any discussion to that motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Executive session, we do have a need to go in executive session for personnel, legal, and contractual. I get a motion to that effect.
Move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion is second on the floor to go into executive session for personnel, legal, and contractual. Any discussion to that motion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. We are now in executive session. I just want to adjourn the meeting, this meeting. I declare us out of executive session. It's about 20 after 12. We've completed our business, got through our agenda, I'll declare us adjourned.